What's going on? Welcome to Shred Gaming. Today we are going to talk about Street Fighter 6, its dynamic controls, and why it's a lot more important than you think. Let's get after it. So after the end of the Street Fighter 6 closed beta, the FGC was starving for more content from Capcom. Whether it was a character or a gameplay trailer, a release date, or even maybe the next beta test date, we just wanted something. Well, the other day, Game Informer showed us both the cover of Street Fighter 6 and more importantly, the three types of control systems that they're gonna use in Street Fighter 6. The three types of controls is dynamic, modern, and classic. The dynamic control system, as described by Nakayama, is basically that he noticed that new players were always button mashing. And to make the game easier and more appealing for new players, they wanted to implement an intuitive control system that allows you to combo and do specials from three different buttons. And modern controls is kind of that bridge for casual players to be able to easily combo and special, but gives the player a little bit more control of their character. And classic, of course, is that old school system that we all know and love, and it gives you full control over every aspect of the character and their mechanics. So why is this important? Well, if you've been following my channel, I have two main themes, which is competitive gaming and growing the FGC, which is exactly why dynamic controls is very important. So when you bring up fighting games, how many have heard the same old thing, which is, I would love to play fighting games, however, they're way too hard, which to be honest is actually pretty valid. Fighting games are very hard, especially if you play games like Guilty Gear Strive or Tekken 7. And not only are fighting games hard, every fighting game is different, each character is different, they all have different mechanics. And not just that, it takes hours and hours of mastering and playing and labbing and practicing and playing online to actually master not just the game, but in some instances just one character takes hours on end to master. And so the leadership at the Street Fighter 6 development team came up with a counter to that difficulty and found that the best way to bring in new and younger players into fighting games is honestly, and I hate to say this, to make them easier and more accessible. That way it can show them how cool these games actually are without having to go through the hours of labbing and practicing. And now to put everyone at ease, Nakayama did state that dynamic controls will only be for local and arcade mode, meaning you can only use it in one player modes or with your friends in person. But what is important here is that the leadership of Capcom is trying to implement something that fighting games have kind of lost over, I'd say probably like the past 10 years, and that is this.
Damage on that counter. Player one can't afford to get hit again, but still has a chance to take the round if they can find out their drive. They back the opponent into the corner. Now
the element of fun. See, we in the FGC have been so hyper focused on competition that games have forgotten what we had back in the arcade days, which is why content creators such as Maximilian Dude and Jay Wong love to show and talk about old fighting games and what made them so great. So I know this sounds very contradictory to the theme of my channel, but that's because personally, I find satisfaction in competition and winning, but that's not everyone. In fact, that's not most people at all. Most people find satisfaction in fun, achievement hunting, unlocking game content, or story mode, which all this means that developers now hold the responsibility of making a game that can be enjoyed by everyone, all the way from your casual player or your hardcore competitor. In conclusion, I believe that the leadership and the development team for Street Fighter 6 really thought it out and were like, what can we do to bring in new players? Because like I have said before, fighting games as a genre aren't near as popular as they used to be and have developed this reputation for being very difficult, which is fair and valid because fighting games are very difficult. However, I would probably argue back that those same people have played Dark Souls and Elden Rings, which are extremely difficult games as well. But 2023 is shaping up to be the year of fighting games, with more information about Tekken 8, with Project L coming out, with Street Fighter 6 going to be coming out, and development teams are, I've noticed, being very transparent and giving us the information that we need in order to keep us engaged, which personally is a big thank you. I mean, this is exactly what I've wanted from a development team, someone that gives us the information, someone that tells us what's going on, and someone that is trying to develop a great game without constraints or limits, and that can be enjoyed by everyone. So again, like, subscribe, comment down below. Please tell me if you agree, if you disagree, what you think about the dynamic in the modern controls. I know that dynamic's probably going to be pretty boring. I think modern's great segue into classic. I'll definitely be using classic. So thanks again for watching. Shred out.